Maxim 3, the multiple forms of surprise. Surprise can be achieved in many forms. In military engagements, these forms include location, strength, intention, style, and timing. Should it not prove attractive or feasible to achieve surprise in all dimensions, it may still be possible to achieve surprise in at least one of these. Thus, for example, if intentions cannot be concealed, it may still be possible to conceal timing, cry wolf syndrome, place, strength, or style. This assertion is for the most part self-evident. An interesting aspect of the closing sentence, which relates to the phenomena of conditioning, is the debilitating effect of the cry wolf syndrome. Figure 3 provides several quotes that illustrate the desensitizing effect of false alerts at Pearl Harbor, Darwin, Korea, Vietnam, and Israel, 1973. The parallelism of the quotations is striking. There can be no doubt that cry wolf is an established element in folklore of indications and warning. Equally, there should be no doubt that such concern is justified by historical evidence. Figure 4 shows various cross-tabulations and a statistical analysis of the historical data involving deception, false alerts, and resulting surprise. In particular, the data show that when one or more false alerts precede the military engagement described in the case, the definition of cry wolf in the table, surprise resulted in 92% of the cases. Where this was not the case, surprise resulted in 67% of the cases, a difference significant in both practical and statistical terms, and indeed is comparable, though of somewhat less magnitude than the effect of deception on surprise. The empirical evidence is also consistent with, though it does not prove in a statistical sense, the hypothesis that the combined effects of false alerts and other deception are greater than either factor taken singly, leading to surprise in 23 out of 23 cases. In view of this finding, it is an interesting curiosity that deliberate desensitization by false alerts was only rarely an integral part of the deception plan. That is, in almost all of those cases involving false alerts and deception, the generation of false alerts was not an explicit part of the plan, though the architects of the plan were sometimes aware of the victim's false alerts. In some cases, the cry wolf effect was a byproduct of the deception effort. Thus, in the Prenam- Prenamund raid described earlier, the scientists and engineers at Prenamund were as much the victims of the conditioning as the German air defenses, as revealed by this extract of Professor Werner von Braun's diary. At the moment the air raid sirens sound, first of all I go to my room. There's no hurry. This is not the first time. It's only been a warning. A number of men are standing around, looking up at the sky and cracking jokes. But the purpose of the conditioning was to make credible the spoof raid on Berlin, not to desensitize the occupants of Peenemünde. Indeed, rather than direct peripheral effort on the part of the adversary, conditioning may result instead from some operational pattern altered or expanded without sinister motive. In this case, the effect is self-deception through misinterpretation. It should also be noted that efforts to reduce the vulnerability to surprise generally take in the form of increasing the sensitivity of the warning system. This can also be expected to increase the number of false alarms, in turn reducing the sensitivity. Unhappily, we are faced with the troublesome conclusion that some degree of surprise through self-deception and conditioning may be unescapable. A tongue-in-cheek decision rule for avoiding false alerts is provided in Figure 3. In a more academic vein, Axelrod framed the decision theoretical model of the trade-offs between false positives and false negatives, the analytical core of the issue as stated above, though the Axelrod analysis did not address explicitly the cry wolf syndrome. Maxim 4 coming up next.